For you made us for yourself, and our hearts are restless until they find their rest in you. I chose this quote from St. Augustine because I think it so perfectly describes our recent experience. These last 2 weeks have served for us as a period of divine rest. The streets have been a lot emptier, schools completely quiet, voicemail and email boxes, praise God, have been very still. As Christians, however, this rest is filled for us with purpose, namely to adore the infant Christ. Until now, we've gazed on him with Joseph's eyes, pondered him with Mary's heart. We've discovered during the octave of Christmas that truly he is the heir of David's throne, the bread come down from heaven, the Messiah who ushers in God's Jubilee. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I could stay in this rest forever. And undoubtedly, permanent rest will one day come. But today is not that day. Not for society, because after all, Monday is coming. But not for Jesus, more importantly. In fact, what happens now is that the glory of the infant Jesus that has gleamed for us over the last 2 weeks is going to go hidden entirely until the Transfiguration. The star that shines brightly for today will fade away until Easter morning. And the reason for all of this is simple. There is work to be done here. Jesus ultimately did not come for leisure, and the feast we celebrate, the Epiphany, begins the move from the Crèche to the cross. The mistake that we often make about leisure is to treat it as an end in itself. Unburdened by relentless responsibilities that lay claim to us during the year, we pause and we cater to our flesh. And catering to the flesh is important, don't get me wrong. We need sleep. We need to eat rich, buttery food from time to time, to open sparkly presents, and to lounge around in our pajamas all day long. I know for myself, when Advent ended and then Christmas finally hit, I desperately needed to convalesce. But a few 9-hour sleeps and 10 additional pounds later, I sat in the chapel and I was aware that the time had come for something to change. That the pampering of the flesh was intended for a reason, and that reason is to dispose us to what comes next. Now, for most people in society, what comes next means new diets, exercise commitments, self-help endeavors, ambitious career moves, and the like. But for Jesus, and therefore for all of us, it's really about mission, and the gifts that the Magi bring to him speak to his mission. Matthew tells us that they open their treasures of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold, while pointing to his royal dignity, also provide for the Holy Family very practically during their upcoming flight into Egypt. Frankincense calls to mind the priestly nature of his vocation, that his entire life is a service of worship to the Father, a pleasing sacrifice to God, which compels Jesus to go out and to do the work, to preach the gospel, heal the sick, counsel the weary, exorcise the demons, and ultimately to suffer his passion. And the myrrh is a preparation for his burial. It's the same ointment that the gospel tells us Nicodemus covers him in at his entombment. And they present all of this to him on this day of transition from leisure into labor. And yes, Jesus has work to do, and therefore, so do we. Which brings us to the question, what does that mean for us? You know, as it is, I did the math here, we have about an 8-week period from now until Lent. Rather than make New Year's resolutions for some 12-month period that, due to the size of that commitment, will probably fail, instead, ask God in prayer what you can do just for 8 weeks, and then it can be revisited at the beginning of Lent. What habits over this time will help you grow in holiness? What vices in your life right now need to be tempered? What good work could you do that would please God most of all. Because, folks, the Magi are here. The gifts are now given. The time to rise has come. The Holy Family is rising from the Crèche, which means so must we.